What's up, everybody? I'm going to see if I can turn all of this into at least one rare and expensive GameCube game. Let's go. So let's take a look at all this stuff here. There's a lot of good stuff here that he found, and most of this, or I think all of it, came from the same place too. So we got 6 original NES controllers, a freaking ton of NES RF units. We got some Nintendo 64 RF adapter. We've got NES power cable. Now this is weird. We have 5 Nintendo 64s here, but here's what's weird about these. I don't think that any of these are gonna work, because as you can see, every single one of them is missing the jumper pack and missing the door to the jumper pack slot. I think these are all non-working Nintendo 64s. Somebody took the jumper packs out of all of them to use the jumper packs in other consoles or just sell the jumper packs, and then took these to a thrift store. But the thing about it is, I can still sell these on eBay for parts only. There are people that repair and work on Nintendo 64 consoles that need to buy some to pull parts off of. We've also got some mold accessories in the package, like this Nintendo 64 extension cable. We've got a GameCube / Nintendo 64 RF unit. We got a memory card for the Nintendo 64 from GamePro. We've got a ton of PS1 controllers here, some originals, and as well as some DualShocks. We got a PS1 multiplayer adapter, a boxed PS2 memory card, which is pretty cool. Now here's my favorite thing right here. Well, first let me show you this. We got a couple of Super Nintendo controllers. We got a Super Nintendo, GameCube, Nintendo 64 AV cable here. We've got some more power cords, some more RF cables. All that stuff's sellable. But here's the really cool thing. So this is my favorite thing that he found. So we got a boxed Game Genie for the original Game Boy, which is really cool. You don't find these very often, much less in the box. This is what surprised me the most though. He found 2 Atari Lynx games, and Atari Lynx games, you just never see these. They're extremely rare. For those of you who don't know, Atari Lynx is Atari's attempt at making a handheld console. It was a failure, so there aren't very many of the games out there. So we got Power Factor, complete in box, and then we have a sealed Atari Lynx game, Rampart. Now granted, these are not worth a whole lot, but it's still pretty cool because you just don't see these very often. And he also found at the same thrift store a sealed Sega Game Gear game. We got Caesar's Palace on the Game Gear sealed, and again, you don't find Game Gear games very often anymore, especially in the box, much less sealed. Now again, this is one that's not worth a whole lot, but it's still pretty cool. And then he also found a freaking sealed Sega Genesis game. It's a sports game, Frank Thomas Big Hurt, but it is factory sealed, which is pretty cool. You don't see that very often. So what we're going to do here is I am going to reimburse Bobby for what he paid, plus he's getting a nice little finder's fee. We're going to take this back to the game room. I'm going to start cleaning, testing, getting stuff listed on eBay. But before we do that, we're actually going to go to that thrift store and check it out just to see if there's anything else to find. So we will see you there. All right, folks, before we go check out that thrift store to see if it has anything else to offer, I wanted to check in with you so far and go over a few things and what the game plan is here. So I'm going to take all of the stuff that I bought from Bobby, and I'm going to try to sell as much of it as possible to make enough profit to get a rare and expensive GameCube game. Now, what is included in this lot? Well, you saw quite a bit of it in the last clip, but essentially what we have are 5 Nintendo 64 consoles missing the jumper packs, 2 Super Nintendo controllers, 6 NES controllers, 5 PS1 controllers, various cords for a variety of different consoles, sealed accessories, and a few games. So there's quite a bit here, certainly enough to be profitable. Now, Bobby paid $80. I paid $173.50, so that is the $80 that I owed to Bobby to reimburse him, as well as an $80 finder's fee that I gave to him for finding all of this stuff, and I bought him lunch for $10, and I had an ATM fee of $3.50 for withdrawing the cash. So at this point in time, a couple of nights ago, I went ahead and listed everything on eBay, and this is what has sold so far. I've sold a Super Nintendo controller, I've sold a Super Nintendo controller parts only. I sold the HDE SNES N64 GameCube AV cable. I sold Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. I sold the Piranha Pad PS1 controller. I've sold 4 NES controllers. I've sold 1 NES controller parts only, and I sold Catwoman on the Game Boy Color. So far, I have made $80.97 from what I have sold, everything that I just listed, leaving me $92.53 that I owe myself. Now, the estimated value of everything in the lot is $874. So if I sold everything, then I would be looking at an estimated profit of about $570, and that is after I pay myself back, and that's also taking about 15% off the top for eBay fees and shipping fees. So if I sold everything, the profit potential is pretty high. However, it is unlikely that I will sell everything quickly. So what I'm shooting for is to get between $100 and $200 in the GameCube fund towards a GameCube game. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at that thrift store that Bobby went to see if there's anything else to find. And when we come back to the game room, I will go over with you another update on what has sold and see if we have made it to that profit territory yet. Let's take a look at that thrift store. So here we are at the Providence Ministries thrift store. Let's see what we can find. Okay, so the Providence Ministries thrift store didn't have anything too crazy. Bobby pretty much cleaned them out, but I did get a few things. So they had VHS tapes, 4 for $1. So I grabbed for Devin the Royal Tenenbaums, which he really loves that movie, as do I. And then I got The Matrix Reloaded, and Santa Claus 2. So 4 VHS tapes for $1. You can't beat that. Now, the only thing that I got for reselling is Microsoft Office Word 2003. It was $1. It looks like I could sell this for around $10 to $20 on eBay. So a little bit of profit that I can get out of that. Should be pretty easy to sell. And a couple more things for the collection. Complete in Box Wii Game, AMF Bowling, Pin Busters for $2.99 going in the collection. And I think I'm going to start collecting soundtracks for movies that I really love. So I saw this CD soundtrack for The Cable Guy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab this because I don't collect CDs, but if there's any CDs I'm going to collect, it's going to be soundtracks for movies that I really like. So there you go. That's the Providence Ministries thrift store. Now let's go back to the game room and see what else has sold and where we're at. So not a whole lot to find at the Providence thrift store, but at least I walked out of there with a couple of things. But let's check in and see what have I sold so far. Well, I have actually sold quite a bit. And not only have I made my money back, so I've completely recouped my investment for this lot of items, but I am pretty far into the profit territory right now. So let me quickly walk through what is sold so far. I sold Caesar's Palace on Sega Game Gear on Instagram. I sold a PS1 controller. I sold another PS1 controller. I sold the Sega Genesis Power Supply model 1602. I sold the Sega Genesis Auto RF Switch model 3035. I sold one NES controller. I sold one NES power adapter. I sold a miscellaneous Casio AC adapter, which had nothing to do with video games. Not only did all 5 Nintendo 64s work, but I also was able to sell all 5 of them, which was a huge reason that I made my money back and made it to a decent level of profit. I sold the sealed Pelican Nintendo 64 extension cable. I sold Tack and the Great Juju Challenge on the Game Boy Advance. And I sold Mia Hamm's Soccer Shootout and Frogger 2 on Instagram. Mayhem. So after paying myself back what I owed myself for purchasing the lot and giving Bobby his finder's fee, we now have $154.40 in the GameCube fund. That is amazing. We should be able to get at least one expensive GameCube game with that, or maybe multiple GameCube games. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's go ahead and head to a media store not too far from me called Media Vault. This place has a ton of video games, CDs, DVDs, you name it. Let's head there and scope out their GameCube section. So here we are at the Media Vault. I have $144 in the GameCube fund. So let's see if we can walk out of here with a $100 or more GameCube game to add to the collection for free. Here we go. Okay, so they don't really have any heavy hitter GameCube games that I'm looking for, but they do have quite a few GameCube games that I need in the collection here, and the prices are actually really good. So instead of grabbing one heavy hitter game, I'm actually going to walk out of here with a handful of smaller games that I need for the collection, and we will still have some money left over in the GameCube fund for another place, and more stuff is going to start selling as well. So let's grab these games, we'll go back to the game room, and I will show you what I got. All right, we are back from Media Vault. Really awesome store. I love that place, and I walked out of there with 4 GameCube games that I needed for the collection, all complete in box. We spent a total of $71 from the GameCube fund, leaving us with $83.40 in the GameCube fund. Now here are the 4 games that I picked up from Media Vault. We got Black and Bruised, Namco Museum 50th Anniversary, NFL Blitz 2003, and MX Superfly. And again, we have $83.40 left in the GameCube fund. So now I'm going to visit a game store in a mall called CM Games and scope out what GameCube games they have in inventory and see if we can pick up a few more with the GameCube fund. Let's go. Scoping out the GameCube games on the shelf here to see what they have that I need. 2 stick out to me. We got Pac-Man World Rally complete and Second Sight complete. These are both games that I need, so I might pick these up, but I'm going to look and see what they have in the case as well. All right, folks, we are back from CM Games, and I managed to snag 3 GameCube games that I needed for the collection, all complete in box. We got Second Sight, FIFA Soccer 2002, and Pac-Man World Rally. After that $80 we spent at CM Games, that leaves us with only $3.40 in the GameCube fund, but I've got some good news. Some more stuff sold, which is going to increase our GameCube fund. So let me quickly run through what has sold since the last update. I sold not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 8 of the NES RF switches, which is amazing. There's only 1 left of the 9. And then I also sold the GamePro Gear N64 memory card 4X, which was in the box. So after those sales, we now have $49.05 left in the GameCube fund. That's enough money to maybe buy 1 uncommon game or a couple of common games that I still need. So we're going to head on over to the Cobb Antique Mall, scope out any GameCube games they have, and then when we come back, we'll see if anything else is sold and where we are at in the GameCube fund. By the way, there will be a hunting episode at the Cobb Antique Mall coming out very soon, so be on the lookout for that. So I have $49 in the GameCube fund from the lot, $49 in profit. I see a couple of games here in this glass case that I need. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom and NHL 06. So next, I'm gonna get somebody to unlock this, see if they're complete, and if they are complete, I'm gonna pick them up without spending any of my own money. Let's go. And we are back from the Cobb Antique Mall. Stay tuned for a hunting episode releasing at that antique mall in a couple of weeks. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. But we walked out of there with 2 GameCube games I needed for the collection, spent a total of $38, and we walked out of there with Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom and NHL 06. And so after the $38 spent at the Cobb Antique Mall, we have $11.05 left in the GameCube fund, and the final NES RF Switch sold, leaving us with a total of $15.18 left in the GameCube fund. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop it there for this video. I still have some things left to sell from this lot. There's still the 2 Atari Lynx games. There's still the Game Boy Game Genie. Surprisingly, I got a couple of cords left to sell, a couple of accessories, a couple of controllers. So what I'm probably going to do to get those sold quickly to build that GameCube fund up even more is drop the price on eBay, or I might even take them to a game store as trade bait towards a GameCube game. We'll just have to wait and see. But either way it goes, this has been a successful flipping and reselling session, because after $173.50 investment, not only was I able to make all of my money back, but I was able to get 9 complete in-box GameCube games completely for free using the profits without having to spend any of my own money. And that was the goal of today's video, and I think that we were pretty successful at that goal. So folks, let me know what you think about how I did for this flip. Let me know if you think I did good. I feel pretty good about it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you maybe learned something from the video. And as always, stay safe out there, keep playing games and having a good time, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Later.